Okay guys, so before we begin today's lesson, you do have some words to define. So you will add these 3 words to your vocabulary underneath with the rest of the vocabulary in your vocabulary notebook. Let me see, we're starting on number, 13. I might have the numbers wrong, but just in case, you know how to fix them. So remember, after I write these words, you're going to pause this video, look up the definitions in your glossary, and then you'll write the part of speech and the definition. You will read the pronunciation key and the word in context, but you don't have to write those. So the first new word is the word colony. Colony, C-O-L-O-N-Y. The next word is echolocation. Echolocation, E-C-H-O-L-O-C-A-T-I-O-N. Echolocation. And number 15, and the last word is insecticides. Insecticides. I-N-S-E-C-T-I-C-I-D-E-S. Insecticides. Okay, so what you need to do right now is you need to go ahead, pause this video, use your glossary to define these words. Remember, all you need to write is the part of speech and the definition. You don't have to write the pronunciation guide or the word in context, but please do read those. Once you're finished writing all those, you can go ahead and play the video and we will read this passage. Okay, so you should be done with finding the words in the glossary, and now let's go ahead and read. We're on page 712. Page 712. First, we're going to read the genre and the text feature we'll be talking about in this today's lesson, and the genre is an editorial. Editorials are articles printed in newspapers and magazines that express the opinions of the writer. So if they express opinions, they are usually written to persuade. The text feature we'll be talking about today is advertisements, and advertisements are text and pictures that try to persuade the consumers to buy a product. So the fact that this editorial is written to show someone's opinion, and it's going to have advertisements, that tells us everything we read today is probably going to be written to persuade. Let's go ahead and read. The Chance of a Lifetime by Patricia West. What words come to mind when you see or think of a bat? Creepy, dark, dangerous? People who know very little about this creature might answer in this way. Those who know bats would use words such as fascinating, amazing, even beautiful. All of us here in Austin have an incredible opportunity to take a first-hand look at the Mexican free-tailed bat. A colony of bats has settled under the Congress Avenue Bridge. And we can see that bridge it looks like probably some bats flying over in the picture right underneath the title. I urge all of you to come out to see these bats. They tend to come out around sunset. Depending on the size of a colony, bats can eat tens of thousands of insects during their nightly flights. That, my friends, is a lot of mosquitoes. So we can see so far this author is definitely writing this to persuade us. She's writing it to persuade us that bats aren't as bad as we think, or as some people think. And she's writing to persuade people to come and watch these bats at this bridge in Austin. Now let's look at page 713. I have it up on the board. You have it in front of you, but if you're lost and you're not sure exactly what I'm talking about, you can look to where I'm pointing, and then you can look at it in your book. So first, let's read this skill check. It says, reading an advertisement. The purpose of an advertisement is to persuade people to buy a product. Look for ways in which the author motivates customers to come to Kramer's. So we see this ad right here. Usually when we see ads or advertisements, at the bottom or somewhere on it is going to be the name of the business, their address, and phone number. In this case, we see that this advertisement comes from the business Kramer's Lawn and Garden. Their address is 555 Main Street in Cedar Park, Texas. Their phone number is very fake, but it is 555-555-5555. And this ad also shows their hours, that they're open daily from 10 to 6. It's always a good idea to put your hours in your advertisement so that way people know exactly when to show up. That's one less thing they have to call you about. Nowadays, the business would probably also add their website into their ad, because then if people can't, if it's 9 o'clock at night and they know it's after 6, so it's definitely closed, well, if they really want to order something, they can go on the website and look at what they have there. Now we see that it says our best bat house just went on sale. So the main thing that this ad is trying to persuade you to buy is probably a bat house. It'll have the sale price, now only $40. Usually they'll also have the regular price so you can see the savings, regularly $55. And then there will be some sort of description of the product. Designed by the Bat Society, slanted roof for better runoff. Weather-resistant red cedar, made in the USA. So all of these things are here to persuade someone to buy something. They're trying to persuade you by saying you're saving $15. They're trying to they're trying to persuade you by saying that it's designed by a legitimate company that would probably Bat Society looks like something that would want to save bats and do well. It just describes the product a little bit, slanted roof for better runoff. That way you know you're not going to get a bunch of rain sitting on there and making a nest for mosquitoes or other insects. Weather-resistant red cedar, that means you can put it outside and you don't have to worry about the weather ruining it. And made in the USA, which would persuade a lot of people to buy this product over something maybe that was made cheaply or quickly or somewhere else. We also see that even though the main thing it's trying to advertise is its bat house, we see that it's also telling, well, hey, you can also get hammocks up to 50% off, and you can get wheelbarrows for 10% off when you bring this ad. So their main focus is the bat house, but they're also saying, hey, if you don't want a bat house, we've got some other stuff too on sale. And then they say for a limited time only, sales end 6/30 or June 30th. The reason they say that is so that somebody can't find this newspaper 10 years from now and try to bring in this ad and say, hey, you said I could get this bat house for $40. I want it. And then they can say, well, it ended on June 30th. And usually it might also have a year of 2006. So sorry, but that means you can't use it anymore. So those are actually very important things to put into an ad so that people don't take advantage and try to use it much later. Because maybe you either ran out of bat houses or they are more expensive for you to purchase now, so you have to sell them for more money, or so that people don't try to, excuse me, and so that people come in a certain amount of time. The quicker they come in, the more likely they are to be able to use it. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the page and we'll keep reading. So we're now continuing. Usually you'd see editorials in a magazine or a newspaper, so that's why you would also see ads and things like that. Unfortunately, bat populations are falling all around the county. This decline is due to several factors. Insecticides have killed many bats. People have disturbed bat roosts. Sadly, people who mistakenly think that bats are dangerous or carry disease have intentionally destroyed them. Scientists, however, believe that fewer than 1 bat in 200 is sick. Sick bats are too weak to fly, so they rarely come in contact with people. We need to spread the word. So now we also see that not only is is the author persuading us that bats are not scary and that we should come and watch these bats, but also she's persuading us to take care of bats and not treat them as dangerous creatures and hurt or kill them. With either insecticides or people who purposely disturb or kill them because they are misinformed or they have a misunderstanding of how bats actually are. And then now let's read this little box right here. Dr. Marcus Rivera, a scientist who studies bats, has some helpful advice to pass along. Here are his bat viewing suggestions. Tips on viewing bats. Look for bats at dusk or dawn. Dawn or dusk. Pick an open spot to see bats against the sky. So you don't really want to pick a spot where there's a bunch of trees in the way, because the trees are going to be dark and the bat is going to be dark, so you're not really going to be able to see them. You want an open spot where the light of the sky you'll be able to see the darkness of the bat against that lightness of the sky. Look for bats near water or street lights. Never touch a bat. Do not disturb bats during the day when they sleep. So these are all tips on carefully and, what is the word I'm trying to look for? I can't think of what it is. But carefully watching or looking at bats. Did you know that bats do not rely on their eyes when they fly and hunt insects? They use echolocation. They emit high-pitched sounds. When the sound waves bounce off objects and return to the bat's ears, it can tell how far away the object is. So let's look at the author's purpose for this story. We know it's to persuade. We also see we are also being informed about bats in order to persuade us that they're not as bad as people think. So we know it's to persuade us that bats aren't as scary as people think, to take care of bats, to be kind to bats, and to watch bats when you get the chance, but make sure to watch them safely. It was also written to inform us a little bit about bats. Okay, so we're done with this story. So what you're going to do now is go ahead and get out your packet, and you do have some independent practice. Open up past the math anchor chart and look at the page that says at the top, text feature advertisements. So what you're going to do is first of all read this box about advertisement, and then you're going to read each advertisement. Excuse me. They are each in these boxes. Here's one and here's another, and then you're going to answer the questions. You do not have to answer in complete sentences because you don't have much room. Just make sure to fully answer the question, and be sure to, just be sure to fully answer the question. You don't have to write in complete sentences, but make sure you include enough detail to fully answer it. Make sure to read the box at the top. That will help you, and just read carefully. Okay, that's it for reading today. If you have any questions, please reach out to me between 1 and 5 today.